Hello, Centenary. How are you doing? Pastor Bob here, just checking in. Want to make sure we're all doing okay. Want to do something today that I don't know as I've heard anybody do. This may be new for us during this pandemic. But I wanted to begin today just by giving you permission to have a meltdown. Now, I know you don't need my permission to have a meltdown, but you do need your permission to have a meltdown. And sometimes as Christians, we don't want to do that. Sometimes as Christians, we think, well, we've got to be strong. We've got to be faithful. We have to show all that on our faith and on our face and by having a big, happy smile. And we can never let the world think anything is ever wrong that goes on. And yet you and I know that's not true. There are times when we just feel overwhelmed. In fact, did you know that there is a book in the Old Testament about feeling overwhelmed? The book is called Lamentations. It was written by Jeremiah after the fall of Jerusalem. And Lamentations, there's a word we don't use. Let's translate that into English. That would be deep sorrow expressed with tears. So there's a book in our Old Testament titled Deep Sorrow Expressed with Tears. In that first chapter, Jeremiah cries out to God, talking about what it's like to watch Jerusalem fall, what it was like to watch the temple be burned and destroyed, the place where God's Spirit dwelt among the people. The city itself was also ransacked and destroyed, and the wall, that once proud wall that surrounded the city and protected the people, that too had been destroyed. See, Babylon didn't just conquer the people, they destroyed that city. They destroyed the people's morale. And in the midst of that, Jeremiah cried out to God saying, it's like I'm welled in. It's like I'm covered in darkness. It's just like I can't see any hope or any help right now. Sometimes we feel that way too. Now the problem that many of us feel is when we begin to feel that way, we think of what James said to the church when he wrote and said, consider it all joy, consider it pure joy when you face various trials and tribulations. And we think, sometimes these trials and tribulations are hard. And sometimes we just struggle against them. I don't think we're being unfaithful to God or bad Christians when we struggle against the hard times. I think we're being human. There's a wonderful little story I'd like to read to you. It's from the book Winnie the Pooh. And in this story, Winnie the Pooh has had a particularly difficult day. So he goes and he sits down, and his best friend, Piglet, comes and sits beside him. Pooh simply says, today was a difficult day. And there was a pause. And then Piglet said, would you like to talk about it? And Pooh thought for a moment and then said, no, I don't think so. And Piglet said, okay. And he came and he sat next to Pooh on the log. And Pooh said, what are you doing, Piglet? And Piglet said, nothing really. Only I know what difficult days are like. I quite often don't feel like talking about my difficult days either. But goodness, continued Piglet, difficult days are so much easier when you know you've got someone there for you. And I'll always be here for you, Pooh. As Pooh sat there, working through in his head his difficult day, he went on to think about Piglet, sitting next to him, silently swinging his little legs. And he thought that his best friend had never been more right. Sometimes difficult days just need we just need a place to sit quietly. We just need the opportunity to feel the difficult days. That's what Jeremiah did. And in the end of that difficult day, he writes in Lamentations chapter 3, Lamentations 3, these are verses 22 to 24. Jeremiah writes, the faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercy never ceases. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh every morning. I say to myself, the Lord is my inheritance. Therefore I will hope in him. Now, church, here's what I'm going to suggest we do. I'm going to suggest we take our difficult days and we have a meltdown. And by meltdown, here's what I want you to do. I want you to find a place where you can be alone with one really good friend. And let's make that really good friend Jesus himself. And let's take some time with Jesus. Let's crawl up in his lap. Let's bury our face in his strong chest. Let's weep. Let's experience our difficult days. And let's learn what Jeremiah learned. It's okay. It's okay. Because God loves us very much. He'll even listen to us on our difficult days. All right, church? It's good to see you. And I'll look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.